Good morning, Internet. Today we are here with Mola Mola on a boat heading out of the harbour at Walvis Bay. And today's adventure is to go out to sea, Walvis Bay, and I don't know what's going to happen. Let's see what the day is. As we slowly troll out of the harbour, we have all the ingredients. We have captain, we have some crew members. The actors arrive, and true fashion, they have to be paid first before they will give the show. And then in true spectacular fashion, the main actor arrives, which will treat us today to a great show. Walvis Bay Harbour is an interesting phenomena, similar to Conception Bay and Sandwich Harbour. It's a natural bay which obviously is used to great extent, and it's one of the bigger harbours in the business. The bay is a safe haven for sea vessels because of its natural deep water harbour protected by the Pelican Point. Now, it's the only natural harbour of any size along the Namibian coastline, and it's very rich in plankton and marine life, and therefore it also drew large numbers of southern right whales, attracting whalers and fishing vessels. A succession of colonists developed the location and resources of this strategic harbour settlement. The harbour's value in relation to the sea route around the Cape of Good Hope had caught the attention of world powers since it was discovered by the outside world in 1485. This explained the complicated political status of Walvis Bay down the years.
En so het ons intussen 'n nuwe captain gekry. Ons het dit gedros. So, Boeta is aan die stuur.
Now, the pelicans are a genus of large water birds that make up the family Pelicanidae. They are characterized by their long beaks and large throat pouches, which they use for catching prey and draining water from the scooped up contents before swallowing. They have predominantly pale plumage except for the brown and Peruvian pelicans. The bill pouches and bare facial skin of all pelicans become brightly colored before the breeding season.
Kyk, ek soek die vis, Boeta. Ek soek sy vis.
Now, interesting fact about the pelicans is that all pelicans have 2 webbed feet with 4 toes, all of which are connected by the web known as the totopalmate foot. All of them have these large bills, which are used for catching fish and draining water, as I already said. But the gular sacs are also used for mating displays and regulating body temperatures. Pelicans have large wingspans, some over 11 feet long, and are masters in the air and on the water.
Hy is soos 'n slang. Soos wat? Soos 'n slang. Hy maak sy kyk hoe lank maak hy sy nek.
Remember, in a previous episode, we reported from this harbour about the sunken yacht. The short story of the yacht is that it was apparently built by the Germans in the Nazi era in the Second World War as a yacht to use as a spy yacht. But the long and the short of it is the owner brought it here couple of years ago to make it into a restaurant in the Walvis Bay Harbour, but it unfortunately sunk and it's still lying here. Now the port of Walvis Bay is the biggest one in Namibia, along a major fishing route and a very secure bay with temperate weather conditions causing no delays through the year. It handles about 3,000 vessels a year, about 5 million tons of cargo. It's world class and it supports a lot of industries like petroleum, salt, mining, fishing industries, etc. The transport corridors is managed by the Walvis Bay Corridor Group, and it makes industry or transport between the harbour and the inland very efficient. Deep water anchorage is available inside the harbour. We'll see a lot of ships today, and this is protected by the Natural Bay and by Namport. The port is compliant with international ship and port facilities, and therefore it has a steadily improved cargo handling facilities, etc. That grows every year. It's also one of the most productive fishing grounds in the world. The fishing industry in Namibia is instinctively linked to the lives of many citizens, 14,000 of whom are directly employed as seagoing or onshore processing workers. We are now heading out of the harbour into the bay towards Bird Island. Now, Bird Island is situated just north of Walvis Bay, in the bay, just south of Langstrand, basically. And it serves as the breeding ground for birds, primarily Cape cormorants, and yields Ghana, which is then collected and sold. Now, Bird Island was conceived and constructed by Adolf Winter, a German who immigrated to Southwest Africa in 1912. Winter took a train from Swakopmund to Walvis Bay and saw a natural offshore formation called Bird Rock, which was covered in guano from many birds. And on his return trip, he noticed the guano has been washed away by the sea, and he saw a business opportunity in that. It then began as a wooden platform measuring 4 meters square, 3 meters above the sea, but Winter finished the initial construction in March 1930. And then 1 year later, he enlarged the platform to 16 meters square, and by August 1931, it extended it to 1,600 square meters. Guano was collected and sold annually, and expansion of the platform continued at a slower pace until 1937, when a large shipment of timber allowed building the platform out to its current size of 17,000 square meters. The guano collected from Bird Island is considered high quality for its high nitrogen content relative to other guano collection facilities in the region. It is cleaned in Swakopmund to remove the feathers and other debris, ground to a powder, and exported to Belgium for around $285 per ton. The platform yields approximately 650 tons of guano annually. The tour takes us for a quick look at from the seaside at Aphrodite, Dolfijnstrand, and also Langstrand before we head across the bay towards Pelican Point. Now cut across the mouth of the bay, encountering some of the bigger ships as we go along, and then we start encountering some dolphins and a big seal colony. It is feeding time, and it's a frenzy around here. Literally, there's thousands and thousands of seals eating fish. Now, the question is, how much does a seal eat? A seal eats around 4%, 4 to 6% of their own body weight. And they weigh, a big male seal will weigh approximately 400 kilograms. Therefore, a seal requires around 17 to 25 kilograms of food daily. They eat fish, they eat basically anything, and they're great predators. They can adapt to anything, and it makes them very, very efficient hunters. You can see here they sort of hunt in a pack, and it's a big frenzy. But they can also stay underwater for a very long time, which means they can actually dive basically to the bottom of the ocean and go and look for food. So literally, when we reach the site, you can see there's literally hundreds of thousands of them. And you can make a quick mathematical sum. An average of 15 kilograms each per day gives you a lot of fish you can see. Yeah, one of the highlights of the tour is whenever one of the seals get on board, they obviously gets coached onto the boat by offering them fish. So they're up there to offer fish, and they're still wild animals. So yeah, I wasn't very comfortable with the children touching them. But obviously the tour operators seems to know what they're doing, and he is just interested in the fish.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game.
Now, one of the things that people ask me is where does a seal get water they need? Because they live in the salt water of the sea. So obviously, like all marine mammals, seals get their water they need from their food, and their body are efficient at removing and recycling water from their food. They obviously avoid drinking seawater, and if a seal drinks too much seawater, it can become seriously sick. So yeah, they specially adapted to just recycle the water out of their food.
Yeah. So D is the Cape Brown fur seal.
The other thing is that seals can survive in very cold water, and their furs are specially adapted. In fact, if you open the hairs of the fur, the bottom layers are actually dry. That's how they can seal their hairs off to get the layer against the skin is actually dry, even if they're underwater.
Shame, los me gua. Bye. They must have on the board. Yeah, I was
Then it was time to eat, and we got spoiled by a bunch of Namibian oysters. Oyster farming is big business in Namibia, and Namibian oysters are very popular and very tasty. Originally, the oysters were bred in Chile and then brought to Namibia, but now there are a lot of oysters bred locally in the heated aquariums in Swakopmund. and also in the large salt pans where seawater is pumped in. In 1986, farms were started in Walvis Bay and also in Lüderitz, and today farming is also practiced in Oranjemund. Outside of Swakopmund, intertidal racks and bags are used, as well as long lines and rafts. The long lines support barrels containing oysters. The oysters mature to eating size in just 8 months in Namibia, much faster than other oysters where it typically takes years. For example, French oysters may take 3 years to mature, and marine oysters often 4+ years.
Mag ons nie nader gaan nie.
Waar is hy? Hy is voor.
Voor ons. Kom ons gaan bietjie na. Hy's bietjie klein.
Kom weg.
Dis baie kleintjie.
Dit moet 'n baba wees.
Is dit?
Fishing is one of Namibians' top industries, contributing about 3% of the GDP since 2007 and about 20% of export earnings. Namibian government has been largely successful in sustainable managing its fisheries, but there were some mixed results with the program to Namibianize the fishing industry. The fish rod scandal, in which 2 former ministers and their accomplices were arrested in November 2019 for accepting bribes in return for directing valuable fishing quotas to an Icelandic fishing company, had significant distortionary effect on Namibia's entire fishing sector and could lead to major reforms. In 2021, Namibia raised about $38 million from the governmental objective fish quota auctions of 2021.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gon' live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, doing no cap. Only God wants you, better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad, baby, I'm bad.
I just wanna stay bad, stay mad. Chip on my shoulder cause they treat me like an outcast. I ain't gonna take that, stay back. I'll be swinging hard till the hits come in all caps. I ain't gonna lay back, pray that someone's gonna help me. Ain't nobody like that. I ain't gonna wait, that's all fact. Give me one shot and I'll never get the throne back. I'm sick of being cautious, I'ma go cause something, can't stop this. I'ma steal everybody's lane, cut a shoplift. Sick of hearing everyone complain when they thoughtless. Taste the pain, it's like candy canes. It makes me go change into a better frame, into a better name. Society's insane, we all live for fame. Yeah, cash in the bag, baby I'm bad. Born a rock star in this life, gon' live it up on the attack. Baby I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, no cap. Only God wants you, better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby I'm bad, baby I'm bad. I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gon' live it up on the attack. Baby I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, no cap. Only God wants you, better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby I'm bad, baby I'm bad.
So like Honda.
I won't obey. You cannot tell me what I cannot say. I'm here to last, so yeah, I'm here to stay. I'll live each second like my final day. You can't take that away.
Ons vis is op. Die vis is op.
Star in this life, gon' live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad. I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad. Doing no cap. Only God wants you, better go live it up. Cash in the bag, stadium packed. Baby, I'm bad. Baby, I'm bad. I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed.
We're returning along the beach to Langstrand. Great day on the sea. And with this, we're going to end this video. Say goodbye. Please subscribe. Give us a big thumbs up. Remember, subscription is free, and then we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye. Wasted on the sidewalk in his jacket and his jeans, wearing yesterday's misfortunes like a smile. Once he had a future full of money, love and dreams, would he spend like they was going out of style? And he keeps on right on changing, for the better or the worse, searching for a shine he's never found. Never